Is Russia war against Ukraine ending? Not today. Putin just said he wants to spend even more money on the military, all the way through 2028. At the same time, Moscow has less and less real money. That's a strange contradiction, isn't it? This war is not what it was in 2022, when Ukraine was weak and not ready. Ukraine is strong now. Russia keep hitting our civilian infrastructure, and Ukraine now does the same on Russia territory, taking apart their logistic roads completely. Meanwhile, the Kremlin is not stopping the strikes on civilians. It keeps going. And living in Kyiv is simply unbearable. We don't know if we will wake up in the morning because ballistic missile and other high-tech weapons keep hitting civilian targets. And it feels like the situation might change, maybe. We don't know. Zelensky in the United States again today, and he will have another meeting with Trump. But what makes this meeting different from the previous one? Maybe something new has happened. Well, Iran wants to bomb Ukraine to launch ballistic missiles and to respond to Ukrainian aggression, as they call it. But there was no aggression from Ukraine. Let me remind you, back in 2022 and 2023, Iran was supplying combat drones, the Shaheds, to the Russians so they could bomb us. So Iran trying to get into this war now or threatening to get into it is completely nonsense. I mean, they are saying that we are the aggressors. That is absurd. We want to live in peace. Zelensky said the topic of the talk with Trump will be missile defense, and that makes sense. Like I said, living in Ukraine is extremely hard because you don't just deal with huge daily stress from the fact that a Russian missile can simply destroy you. You deal with the fact that it happens systematically. And we don't have enough means to defend ourselves. And of course, I hope this meeting with Trump bring results. But honestly, here in Ukraine, almost nobody believes in that anymore. People don't believe Trump because he keeps saying things he doesn't deliver, including about this war. Let me remind you, when he came to power, he said he would end this war in one day. And this is important. Let's go back to the beginning, to why I said this war is not what it used to be. Ukraine is developing its own strike weapons, long-range missiles and drones too. Today, Ukrainian drones attack Moscow. And obviously, we will keep doing this because Putin doesn't want to stop. By the way, he recently made a statement saying, "What are we going to do if the war stops? We will be bored. We will be bored." War is actually very exciting. All of us here in Ukraine are simply shocked by that level of cynicism. And this is important. Let's go back to the beginning to why I said this war is not what it used to be. Ukrainian is developing its own strike weapons, long-range missiles and drones too. Today, Ukrainian drones attacked Moscow, and obviously we will keep doing this because Putin doesn't want to stop. By the way, he recently made a statement saying, "What are we going to do if the war stops? We will be bored. War is actually very exciting." All of us here in Ukraine are simply shocked by that level of cynicism. And the Russians obviously do nothing about it. Nobody criticizes Putin, and that's understandable because the so-called Rosgvardia will come for you. That's their local police force. Also, you could call them Putin's servants, the people who help him keep the population in line so they don't revolt. And speaking of Putin not waiting to end the war. He is expanding the powers of Rosgvardia. He is giving them more ways to pressure people by force. And that tells us that this question of mobilization is most likely already decided for him. After the parliamentary election, he will go ahead with the general mobilization I talked about in my last video. By the way, about the last video, thank you for the subscription and the likes. That really matter to me, because being here in Ukraine is hard. It's hard not only because there's a war going on, but also because it's hard to read the news where people try to blame Ukraine for something, or where they present things that are not true. On this channel you will find answer to most of your questions, because I live in Ukraine, I'm in Kyiv, I work as a TV anchor, which means I talk to different experts, live live on air and all the time. I have been to the front line, I documented Russia crimes. On this channel you will get accurate information. And like I said, Ukraine keep building up its military potential. We are making real progress. As Reuters reports, Ukraine produces more FPV drones every month than the US plans to buy in a year. So we have things to talk about with Trump, not only asking for the ability to defend ourselves, meaning Patriot, PAC-2 or other missile defense system. We also have something to offer. That's actually what Trump talked about last time when he said Zelensky had no cards. It looks like the situation has changed, and it looks like Trump might find this interesting. Meanwhile, as the news reports, Russia is changing its tactic for strikes on Kyiv, and honestly we don't know what to expect. We were preparing for a massive missile attack, was supposed to happen yesterday or the day before, but the Russians are so cunning, and it's so important for them to wear us down psychologically that they keep changing the tactic. When we expect it, they don't launch, and when we relax, it happens. So it's very important that in this conversation with Trump, at least this issue moves off that point, because Ukraine keep hitting logistic hubs in Russia. Civilian logistic hubs. Yes, I know how that sounds, but context matter. Since to the start of this war, since early 2022, Russia has been destroying postal stations in Ukraine and doing it on a massive scale. Ukraine didn't respond for a long time, but now the situation has changed. And by the way, the Russians don't like it because they are starting to suffer from it. Before they were shooting to Putin very emotionally and very supposedly, yes, go fight the Ukrainians, take Ukraine. But now, when Ukraine starts to respond, and literally every Russian feel it, they are getting uncomfortable and they want to the war to end. By the key question is what Putin does after the parliamentary election at the end of this year, after September 21. We still don't know, but here in Ukraine we believe this war is not ending. Putin doesn't want to stop it. Unfortunately, that's how it is. Friends, if you want to support me and support Ukraine, please subscribe to this channel. Here you will find reliable information from a person who is inside, not somewhere far away, and not some distant analysis. I live here, so I know what I'm talking about. See you next time.